Scoutcrafter said in our wood piles we had all kinds of exotic wood. I looked through my scrap pile. I don't seem to have much. I've got some pine, some poplar, little pieces of oak, some leftover flooring. Not much. Let me see what I can come up with. Need something to make that mallet. So when I made this little chest, a nice little item, I had a piece left over. Some plywood laminated on both ends with oak to give the chest a nice finish. Couldn't quite stand to throw this away. It was a solid little piece. Stacks of plywood and oak glued together. Seemed to be quite strong and quite solid. Maybe this piece of scrap would do for a mallet. Well, here it is, folks. There's the wood from my scrap pile. Scoutcrafter said, get your heirloom quality wood from the scrap pile. Well, I don't have any walnut, purple heart, cherry, hickory, maple, etc., etc. So here's my best pieces. My best pieces being one piece of oak, some 1/4-inch plywood, and there's the pieces of scrap left over from another project, which is some plywood laminated on the ends with oak that I used to build the little chest. Of course, I have to make the mallet, and I have no lathe, no planer, no belt sander. I seem to have a lot of saws, but not a lot of finishing tools. So I started gluing pieces together. I do have a lot of glue. And of course, that piece of 3/4 oak was laminated on both sides with the plywood and formed the base for the hammer. And of course, that one piece of oak becomes the middle section of the hammer and then the handle together. The reason I added the plywood was the 3/4 was just too small to make a handle. So by laminating on both sides that plywood, the handle portion became big enough to make a decent handle. And of course, it was shaped by sanding and sanding and sanding. We were also told to keep this short and sweet. So there's my finished wood put together. You can see the oak sandwiched in the middle from the 2 blocks of wood, which were laminated plywood with oak ends. So we will have 2 oak faces for the mallet and a piece of oak as the base for the handle. So hopefully this will be strong enough to be a nice wooden mallet. And here's the finished item with the stain applied and a finish on it. Came out pretty nice. A little different shape and design from many mallets I've seen before with the handle, but I do believe that gives strength to this hammer. Also put some bolts through here to reinforce, bring all the sections together. Here it is. Looks like it's looking back at me. Here's my hammer.